Tiger Sievers. And today we're going to talk about gun laws, gun control, and the NRA. Before that, we're going to talk about the current events concerning Kyle Rittenhouse. Just a quick disclaimer, we are not a credible news source, and we would strongly suggest doing your own research. We are an opinion podcast, and may not get all of our information right, try as we might. We are also two teenagers, and our opinions are subject to change. Please don't hold us to our opinions. We will cite all of our sources and put them in the description. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, you may email us at generationzpodcasts@gmail.com.
A quick current event before we get to our main topics. Kyle Rittenhouse is a shooter in an incident in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He killed one person and injured two others. This is, of course, a tragedy, and Kyle had no business being in Kenosha, not to mention that he's 17 and shouldn't even had a gun. He is currently being prosecuted with first-degree intentional homicide and was later charged with 1 count of reckless homicide, a count for attempted intentional homicide, and 2 counts of recklessly endangering safety. And he is now being charged with possession of a dangerous weapon while under the age of 18, which is a misdemeanor. We will be talking about this right now, just for a second, and if you want to talk about this with us, you can email us at generationzpodcasts@gmail.com. So Ian, what do you have to say about this?
I feel like the charges are very overblown. I definitely agree that this is a tragedy and should not have happened. He should have never been put in this situation, he should have never put himself in this situation, and his parents should not have allowed this situation to ever occur. He lives 30 minutes away across state lines, and while it's not a huge distance, it is a distance.
Not to mention across state lines.
Yeah, with a deadly weapon.
With a deadly weapon.
As a minor.
Yeah, but, I think that's the biggest...
That's the big problem, yeah. Though, again, in the situation that he was put into, and again, just to clarify, a group of rioters charged him after he put out a dumpster fire that they were planning to push into police cars. After putting it out, some people rushed him a little bit, he kind of backed away, and he was then chased through a car dealership lot, I think that's what it is, I'm not exactly 100% sure. The film that I saw was incredibly grainy, but
I don't think there's any good.
Yeah,
any
it
good video
seemed like a shot. I know that some projectiles were thrown at him, and so potentially lethal projectiles like broken glass and heavy rocks. And so he responded by firing a controlled burst of shots, paralyzing the sex offender. I don't know his name.
It was the first guy.
It was the first guy.
Do your own research.
Yeah, please. Then, afterwards, he calls what was assumed to be 911. Turns out it was his friend, and he was kind of freaking out on the phone. Obviously, very remorseful.
I mean, he just shot someone and potentially have killed someone.
Yeah, he definitely did not mean to kill. He shot him 4 times, a grazing shot to the head, a superfluous shot to the thigh, and then 1 through the liver and 1 through the stomach, I think. Again, do your own research. Then he starts getting chased by more rioters. He pulls back, and he starts sprinting towards police lines, where he then trips on the street. And is rushed by...
The guy with the skateboard.
The guy with the skateboard, who hits him in the head with a skateboard. And then afterwards, Kyle fires 1 shot, and it goes directly through his heart. And he takes a couple steps and then falls over and died from his wounds.
Yeah, pretty immediately.
Yeah. And then the third man he shot charged him with a gun, and so he blew his arm off.
Yeah.
Not off, but he
shot him in the arm.
Ruined his bicep.
Yeah.
I feel like he conducted himself very well. He never initiated any violence of any sort. He, only responded with lethal force when it seemed to even me, to any real viewer, that no other options were there. I mean, do you agree? Do you disagree? Sorry, I've kind of been rambling.
Yeah, no, I like that. I agree with most of the counts. The one that I least agree with is the first-degree intentional homicide.
Yeah, definitely not premeditated.
It wasn't premeditated.
And I don't even know that there was... I mean, it could be argued that there was intent to kill, but I don't think he came there intending to kill anyone. I don't think he was intending to kill anybody even after he was being rushed.
I think I agree with Ian that this should have been a manslaughter charge.
Yeah, I think he was backed into a corner. And so I think it should be third-degree manslaughter, which is, I think, a year in prison and a $75,000 fine.
Yeah.
And really... I mean, again, he's a minor. Any big charge should be deferred to his parents, because his parents,
at least
gave him a gun at 17. Yeah, at least. Gave him a gun at 17, right?
Which already isn't, that's already
illegal. Drove him across state lines and put him in this, and allowed him to put himself into this situation. And again, he's 17, so he's not, developed yet. He should not be responsible for these potentially life-threatening decisions. He definitely didn't go there to kill anyone.
There's a video of him before all this happened that,
he's just there as an EMS.
He really looked like he had the best intentions.
Oh, yeah. He came there to put out fires, to clean up graffiti, and give medical assistance.
Yeah, he had a med kit, but the problem is, if he had just been doing that, it would be fine. But the problem is, he had a gun.
I don't think so. I think the problem is, after he put out a dumpster fire, rioters got mad at him, started pursuing him, and throwing things at him. Again, he should never have been in this situation, but how he conducted himself in the situation was just, I feel.
Again, nobody's in the right here. There's no person that's in the right here.
No. Rioters, definitely not. Kyle should never have been there. His parents, they're really bad parents.
There's no person in the right here. There's no good guy.
I mean, yeah, there is no good guy. Though I don't think Kyle's a bad guy. I feel like
at least not
if anyone's, in terms of lesser evils, I feel Kyle is the lesser evil here because he came to do good. And again, he exhausted every option. He sprinted to avoid more violence, right? He was running towards police lines, and only until his life was really in danger did he fire again.
Going back to the counts, I do agree with reckless homicide.
I don't know what reckless homicide exactly entails and what the cause is, because I feel like with all of those ridiculously trumped up charges, I'm not sure. I don't know enough about law to
neither of us have a law degree. Neither of us
just based on the name of the law, yes, I can agree with that, but here, I can just look it up.
Yeah, actually.
Okay, so reckless homicide is a crime in which the perpetrator was aware that their act or failure to act when there is legal duty to act. When there is a legal duty to act, creates a significant risk of death or grievous bodily harm in the victim, but ignores the risk and continues to act or fail to act, and a human death results. Okay, so essentially that's like you see a car coming towards a person and you don't warn them.
Okay.
I don't feel like that's... I mean, again, it's like... The gun was clearly visible. It's not like he was hiding it. If he was hiding the gun, then sure, I can see that charge. This would be a
much different case. Yeah, this would be a much different case if he was hiding the gun.
Yeah, I don't think I can see reckless homicide. Because there was no failure to warn people of the significant risk. The gun was visible.
Yeah.
If you throw glass bottles and, other potentially lethal projectiles... And if you, God forbid, if you charge somebody with a gun, with another gun, it's like common sense, man. They're gonna retaliate because they don't want to die, especially at 17, So, I don't see reckless homicide, personally. What do you think, Tiger?
I'd have to do more research on that law, and, maybe there's something that we're missing, or...
Yes. Again, please do your own research. Also, this is just the Wikipedia.
Yeah, neither
Google
of us
immediate results. So. Yeah. And I suppose I should link the stupid thing.
We'll put it in the description along with all of our sources. But so he is also account for intentional homicide. which
I mean,
I don't think
I don't
either
know
of
if he was
those-
necessarily shooting to kill.
I don't think either of the
Because, I mean, the only, again, it was, one shot per person towards the end there, and, I think the only intent to kill is maybe the first man. Maybe the first man. But even then...
because he did fire 4 shots.
Yes, but he was also at a pretty significant range while standing.
Yeah.
So he may just be ensuring that he's actually hitting his target more than anything else.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. You know,
this is a very common case, and neither of us were actually there. So
we're also not experts.
Yeah. And
though then again, nobody reporting on this seems to be. So it's,
and we'll have to see how this court case goes out.
Again, this is 4 or 5 days afterwards. So not even all the details, I don't think, have come out.
Yeah,
I mean, we just learned that he didn't kill 2 people today. So
that's
yeah,
because it turns out the first guy was paralyzed instead.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last 2 charges, or 3 charges, 2 counts of recklessly endangering safety. That one I completely agree with. I don't think there's much of an argument that he didn't.
Well, okay. Recklessly endangering safety. Honestly, he wasn't, though. He put out a dumpster fire. There was no... Again, until he was attacked, he did not initiate any violence of any sort. I mean, unless putting out a dumpster fire is violent.
I think it was mostly the fact that he brought a gun.
Everyone there had a gun.
Well,
and yet he was the only one targeted because he put out the dumpster fire.
Well, because he was under the age of 18 and he was out of state lines.
Okay, maybe the parents then.
Okay.
Because again,
I can see
his parents drove him there. You know,
I can see that. But again, we'll have to see how this court case actually goes out.
Because I mean, if we're already slapping him with third-degree manslaughter as a 17-year-old. That's already going to be hard for him to get a job. Also, he's, nationally famous now, so, his life is already kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, I mean, it's the way the media's painting it, especially, it's his only choice of employment options now are, either incredibly racist people.
Yeah.
Or, because... it's have you seen the articles?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot about him.
And it's all very misinformation.
It's one of those things it's a nobody that becomes really famous for doing something stupid. Yeah. And then it messes up their entire life.
And he's not even a legal adult yet.
Yeah. And the last charge is possession of a weapon while under the age of 18.
Of course.
There's no argument. There's no argument that unless it comes out that he's his birth certificate was faked and he's 3 years older.
Or, if it's a week from his birthday, okay, but...
Even then.
I mean, even then, it's still breaking the law.
Yeah, even then.
I mean, I guess, there's
that's like drinking a week before you turn 21. It's still breaking the law.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Alright, and, I think once this case actually finishes out, we'll probably do a more in-depth thing about it, or at least
just longer segment.
At least a whole segment on it, if not just current events. Just want to know what happens.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that wraps it up.
We're gonna wrap this up. If you have any questions and comments, email us. Our email.
You don't need to tell people to email them
in the
at the end of every. Welcome to the first segment on our episode on gun control, current legislation. In this segment, we will be talking about the assault weapon ban of 2019.
Alright, and as we begin there, I think Ian will open with the first argument.
Yeah. Well, first, some of their vocabulary, because it is not dictionary definition-based.
Okay, so you want to talk about...
So I just want to clarify what we're talking about when we say assault weapon ban, because not many people would think this means assault weapons. So, the term semi-automatic assault weapon means any of the following, regardless of country of manufacture or caliber of ammunition accepted. A semi-automatic rifle that has the capacity to accept a detachable magazine in any one of the following. So, semi-automatic, you pull the trigger, a bullet comes out every time. Detachable magazine, it's the box full of bullets that has a spring in it that pushes the bullets up into the gun. And any one of the following. A pistol grip. So that is essentially just a grip. Just imagine a pistol. Okay, put that on a rifle. So just about every single rifle that exists, except for built-in stock handles.
Yeah, only a couple.
Like hunting rifles. Apart from those, just about every gun has a pistol grip. A forward grip. So this means a
grip
piece to hold on to, usually underneath the barrel. A folding, telescoping, or detachable stock, or is otherwise foldable or adjustable in a manner that operates to reduce the length, size, or any other dimension, or otherwise enhances the concealability of the weapon. So you can have cool stocks. Which I don't see how that has anything to do with the gun, because stocks are interchangeable.
It's one of those things, well, like, they're basically making it so only, like, rifles, like hunting rifles with, like, like actual,
with built-in stocks.
And at that point, like, they're basically banning everything but pump-action rifles.
Well, or lever.
Or
bolt, but yeah.
You get the gist.
You can't have a grenade launcher.
I think that's...
I agree already in legislation, so I'm not sure why they had to add that, but okay. A barrel shroud, or a threaded barrel. A quick side note, the threaded barrel was invented in 1498. So, and was made commonplace in the early 19th century. So, clearly, our founding fathers had no idea what a threaded barrel was. It shall be unlawful for a person to import, sell, manufacture, transfer, or possess, in or affecting interstate or foreign commerce, a semi-automatic assault weapon. We're essentially not allowed to use technologies invented in 1498, again, like medieval, early Renaissance.
I think that one
that is silly.
That's overdoing it.
You're saying we're allowed to use smoothbore muskets, hunting rifles. Well, yeah, we're allowed to use hunting rifles.
Yeah.
We're allowed to use we're allowed to use pump-action shotguns.
Yeah.
Okay, so essentially, if it was invented, like, early 1900s, we're allowed to use it. We're allowed to essentially use World War I to II technology. Not even, though.
Not quite.
I mean, the M1 Garand would be an assault weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, but that one would actually be an assault weapon by dictionary definition, funnily enough.
Well, dictionary definitions are very different from legal definitions.
Yeah. Dictionary definition is literally just any rifle designed for infantry use in combat. And so
that would be...
I looked this up. So that would be like, an M4 carbine or something. That would not be an AR-15. AR-15s have never been used in combat, like, by any military, because they're impractical to use in combat.
Why are they impractical? Just like, I don't know a whole lot about guns.
Okay, so semi-automatic. There are a lot of frivolous restrictions put on the manufacturers, so they can't make nearly as competent as weapons.
Oh, got it.
I mean, you can make really nice ones, but, yeah.
So it's a manufacturer...
And it was specifically designed to be a civilian variant of an assault weapon.
Got it. So it's a sub...
So it's essentially like, the runt of the group, it's like... Yeah. And then the other really funny thing is you can't have a folding stock, because that would aid in concealability on a rifle. But you don't have to have a stock at all on your rifle. That's legal. So long as your rifle is 26 inches or more. Which is really funny. Also, you're not allowed to have any stock or brace for pistols in this thing by proposed law. You have to make them concealable. Like, that's just, you can't make that up, It's like, it's such a contradiction, because when you try to make legislation about things you know literally nothing about,
it
kind of makes it hard, doesn't it?
Well,
So, yeah, that's my main problem. I mean, it totally infringes on your Second Amendment rights.
Alright, so are you starting your argument?
Yeah.
Okay.
It infringes on your Second Amendment rights because the entire point is, if your government goes totalitarian, evil, blah blah blah, you are not only allowed, but compelled to rebel, overthrow, and start anew. I mean, hundreds of Founding Father quotes to back that up. So, yeah, I mean, essentially limiting us to, like, World War I technology is not really going to make that very feasible.
Just to begin my argument, I have a bit of an opening statement that I wrote. So, the S-66, also known as the Assault Weapon Ban of 2019, many people, including the NRA, believe that it infringes on the Second Amendment in the Constitution. This is unfounded, and federal courts do not agree. The Supreme Court case District of Columbia versus Heller set a precedent in 2008 and again in Heller 2, saying that the Second Amendment is not unlimited. And I would actually like to read a part of District of Columbia versus Heller under the subsection "to keep and to bear arms." They're like, so in this court case, there's a section where like they piece together each part of the Second Amendment, and they are like, this is a fascinating case. It's District of Columbia versus Heller, and this was in 2008. So here's the quote. Although the court's discussion of these words treats them as two phrases, as if they read "to keep" and "to bear," they describe a unitary right to possess arms if needed for military purposes and to keep them in conjunction with military activities. That is a direct quote from this case.
Can you read that again?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm bad at legal jargon.
Yeah. Although the court's discussion of these words treats them as two phrases, as if they read "to keep" and "to bear," they describe a unitary right to possess arms if needed for military purposes and to use them in conjunction with military activities. So what I got from that is that it provides, like, you can have guns, but you have to use them for military activities. And like I think a lot of people at least I think this is the legal kind of definition of the Second Amendment, or at least that section of the Second Amendment. A lot of people, I think a lot of people read it differently, and I definitely did before this. Where I think I'm seeing it a bit more clearly. Just to back that up, I actually want to read the Second Amendment in full.
I have it pulled up too.
Oh, do you want to read it?
Sure. The Second Amendment of America, it was revised in 1992. I did not know that, but it says, "A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." I mean, well-regulated militia, necessary to the security of the free state. That's all I need for that.
Yeah.
Personally, I mean, I understand your point, but at the same time, I mean, our country is founded on rebellion based off of an unfair and unjust rule, right?
Yeah.
So, our founding fathers somehow deciding to not support that seems a little far-fetched.
Well, so there have been 7 states, or 6 states and a district, or whatever that's called. Starts with S.
What?
What the District of Columbia is.
Just a federal district.
Whatever.
You can call it that. I know that there's a word for it, whatever.
So it's including New York, Connecticut, District of Columbia, California, a couple others, and a couple others restrict assault weapons. So, in all of those, I researched those, and there were a couple lawsuits saying this infringes the Second Amendment, including District of Columbia versus Heller, and the appeal, which is Heller versus District of Columbia. Yes, naming. Which is now called Heller 2, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Because...
that's not confusing.
Oh yeah, totally not. So it has these parts where it dissects the Second Amendment. And let's see. Let's read the quote: "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state." And in this case, it says the preamble to the Second Amendment makes 3 important points. It identifies the preservation of the militia as the amendment's purpose. It explains that the militia is necessary to the security of a free state and recognizes that the militia must be well regulated. In these 3 aspects, it is comparable to the provisions in several state declarations of rights. So it's talking about like how it has to be a well regulated militia. It can't just be it has to be like and like I think that kind of ties owning a gun to being in a well regulated militia. And I think
regulated by whom? The state? Because I don't think that's what their intention was originally,
Well,
because again, if your militias are organized by your enemy, then that's not exactly a good way to fight against tyranny, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, and again, that is kind of going back to the whole point, isn't it?
Well,
Just about we barely won against, not even the full brunt of the British Army, right?
Yeah.
Because we had outdated guns. We barely had ammo. It was a tough fight for us.
Yeah, and we had to call in help from 2 other countries.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I feel like
2 other major power countries.
Oh, huge.
Which were French and Spain,
superpowers.
which then were much bigger than they are now.
Oh my gosh. Well, everything in Europe was bigger than they are now.
Europe's power has shrunk considerably
and
since.
yet it is still one of the biggest centers of power in the world.
Yeah. I mean...
it is the biggest center of power in the world.
And up until, even the 1900s, it was...
oh, yeah.
They still had major, India, Africa.
Oh, they still had... Yeah, Britain had India until, several years after World War II.
Yeah.
I think it was... I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not going to say any random dates.
And same with, and even then, a bunch of African countries only gained independence until, the 60s?
Oh, yeah. No, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And then, that's why Africa's so unstable, is because it's a lot of these countries are founded on colonization lines, not naturally forming cultural boundaries.
And it's recent colonization.
It's not even 100 years old yet. Yeah. So that's why you see constant warring and constant border changes. I think
the most recent one would be
Sudan splitting, I think.
Well, no, I'm not saying for Africa. I'm saying for Great Britain's colonies. I think the most recent one would be Hong Kong.
Probably.
Because it's given back to China in 1998 or something.
Yeah, but it had to remain under a democracy, and then
50 years, which is another big topic.
And then China's taking it back now, and it's kind of crazy. Kind of went under the rug. No major news outlets that I saw reported on it.
Not recently.
There was barely any coverage.
Last year, that was a big thing.
I don't remember any major coverage. I remember a couple stories from NPR.
I was a bit more immersed in it because I was really interested.
Oh, see, no, I looked it up. I had to look up independent journalists because I couldn't find anything on major sites.
Huh. But anyway, back to our point.
Yeah, sorry, that was a huge tangent. But yeah, so back to our original argument though. I'm saying that if we're not allowed to have access to even semi-contemporary weapons, how are we planning on combating a tyrannical government, And taking away the ability to defend yourself is one of the first thing that any tyranny, dictatorship, does.
Yeah. But I'm saying, just no matter how you interpret it, no matter what you believe, legally, this is what I'm saying. I'm going from, I researched this, and again, I might get things wrong. But this is what I got from it. That many states have banned assault weapons.
Yeah.
And most of them had court cases that were defending the Second Amendment. And no federal court has ever said that assault weapon ban infringes on the Second Amendment.
So the problem is these state and federal courts it depends on where they're based. You'll get completely different rulings.
Well,
that's part of the problem.
To be fair, most of these were in the
extremely blue areas.
Yeah. No,
I almost said countries, but I know.
That is fair, but like...
So, I mean, like, District of Columbia, I mean...
That's pretty liberal.
It's almost 100% blue, polling-wise. But I mean, any major city you find, almost 100% is going to be blue. Because that's just how it is, right? Because, you have your urban life where it's incredibly condensed wealth spread very poorly amongst the population, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where ideas like socialism and stuff for the, lower to middle class are kind of popular, right?
I agree with that.
And then out in the country, the wealth is distributed a lot more evenly.
Yeah, that's why Kansas is a bit more of a red state.
Yeah, because we're a lot more agricultural.
We're a farming state.
And, people are... Well, one, they have their own spaces, which I think is hugely helpful for mental health. Yeah. But also, I mean...
in Lawrence and in Douglas County area, we live in, like, one of the only blue part of the state.
And it's because we live in a pretty highly urbanized area.
Like Topeka,
compared
Lawrence,
to Kansas.
Douglas County, and also we're a college town.
Yeah, college town, that helps.
Yeah. And, like, that is, like... Most of these states were blue states, and that probably helped. That can't have hurt.
Oh, 100% helped.
That couldn't have hurt. But it doesn't...
I understand. It doesn't change the precedent. I agree.
Though. And so bans on assault weapons have been upheld for two reasons. So, one is banning assault weapons doesn't infringe on the rights of self-defense.
Self-defense? Yes, I agree. You don't need an AR to defend yourself. There are other alternatives.
This is one of it, yeah. And there are plenty of firearms to use. Handguns and regular long guns can be used for self-defense.
Yeah, though, I mean, I read the bill. The amount of restrictions on pistols are a little stupid, too. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, well, one, you're not allowed to have more than 10 bullets, which is, I mean, pistols are already hard enough to shoot, accurately.
Yeah, you need to be, like, in 10 feet of them to, like, accurately shoot.
Well, it depends on the pistol.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and it depends on the level of training. If you just have basic pistol training, like most people do, I mean, 10 feet should be enough.
I can say from personal experience, pistols are pretty hard to aim.
They are. And, I mean, again...
Because they're so short and, like...
And you cannot have a heavy caliber, right? So, you are going to need... a couple of shots of stopping power to put somebody down or to stop them, right?
Yeah.
So 10 bullets is a silly restriction that I don't see logically, I don't see any logic behind it.
All right.
But yeah.
I have so the court also said that the city had plenty of reasons to believe that assault weapons are too dangerous for self-defense purposes. And I'm quoting here, with the ability to fire so many shots so rapidly, the judge said, such weapons pose grave risks to bystanders, not to mention police officers who might confront them on the streets.
You can fire a pistol at the same rate of an AR or an AK or whatever you're considering an assault weapon. It's a semi-automatic, as fast as your trigger finger is.
Why do you think they're banning? Why do you think they're regulating pistols also?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's just a silly argument for only assault rifles.
Well, it's assault weapons, so they're going under.
Okay, so they're going after pistols too with more than 10 bullets.
Well, this is way before the S66 bill.
Okay. I didn't know when this passed.
This is 2008.
Okay. Oh, right, you said that. You said that.
This
was
my bad. A while ago.
Okay. I mean, either way, so, I mean, what's their definition of an assault weapon even? You know?
2008?
Is it like, an M249 saw or something? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? But, that was an exaggeration, by the way.
I'm sure it's been updated.
I'm sure.
As the federal definition has been updated.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, who knows?
So my...
Yeah. Though, I mean, it's not like assault weapons are even used very much in crimes. ARs make up less than 2% of violent crime.
Well, yeah.
Or violent gun crime, even.
Just to back up my, the court ruled that it did not impede on self-defense right. In Maryland, where they've also banned assault weapons, law enforcement could not identify a single case where a Marylander, that's such a... I hate that.
Marylander?
It's like Kansaner. It's like...
Yeah, you don't say that.
I hate it.
A dweller of Maryland.
It's like, just simplify it. Has ever used a military-style weapon or used more than 10 rounds to defend themselves. So they couldn't think of a single case.
And maybe so. But I mean, again...
So banning assault... that's one of the reasons that banning assault weapons doesn't impede on self-defense rights, which it doesn't.
I never said it defends on self-defense, though. That's the thing. The pistols, Well,
what are there restrictions on pistols?
Here, let me pull up the
I have it. I already have it.
I have it, too.
I already have it.
I already have it, too.
Alright. The term semi-automatic pistol means any repeating pistol that A. utilizes a portion of energy in the firing cartridge to extract the fired cartridge case and chamber the next round. That's the
definition of semi-automatic.
Yeah, semi-automatic pistol.
No, that's just semi-automatic.
Well, yeah, but they're talking. And B requires a separate pull of the trigger to fire each cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, that's semi-automatic pistol. They're not banning those, from what I can tell.
Well, that's in.
I know, but that's just the definitions, which it doesn't say that they're banned, does it? I didn't see anything about it.
Actually, I have a summary right here.
Here.
I'm gonna read the summary. So...
Here, no, I found the assault weapon part of the pistols. A semi-automatic pistol that has the a capacity to accept a detachable magazine and any one of the following. A threaded barrel, so a smooth-bore pistol? What? Okay. Again, are we just going... They never had smooth-bore pistols, unless we're talking about flintlocks.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. And again, I don't know enough about guns to really...
A barrel shroud. The capacity to accept a detachable Okay, so you're not allowed to have a magazine outside of the pistol grip. Why?
It's to limit capacity.
No. You can have 32 rounds in the pistol grip or outside of the pistol grip. It doesn't matter. You can put a magazine wherever the heck you want on a gun, pretty much.
Yeah.
That doesn't limit capacity at all.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's honestly impractical to have a detachable magazine at some location outside of the pistol grip, but...
I think they're covering their bases.
Well, what they're covering is, pistols, in quotation marks, which are, essentially just like people sell AKs or ARs without stocks, and they are federally classified as pistols.
Yeah. Which is a whole other...
Which is a whole other thing, which is like, okay, well, one... It's not a huge problem, but, I mean, it just destabilizes the firearm and makes them less useful.
Yeah.
But I digress. A manufactured weight of 50 ounces or more when unloaded, because logic, apparently. I mean, what are you, like... You're just, like, banning high points and crappy pistols at that point. A stabilizing brace or similar components, so you're not allowed to stabilize your gun. A fixed magazine that has the capacity to accept more than 10 rounds. And that's it. But yeah, a threaded barrel, I mean, are you joking? I'm sorry, but... I mean, these people, again, they don't know how guns work. They have no clue.
Yeah, these are Senate...
They're idiots. I mean, no offense, but they're idiots.
No, I would agree with that in most part. I think most politicians have no idea what they're talking about in regards to a lot of things because they aren't experts in those fields. Like,
I mean, if you just did 10 minutes of research, you would know that, though. It's like, literally, there are pages upon pages upon pages on, like, even Wikipedia about the history of threaded barrels.
Yeah.
And how they've been used since, again, 15th century.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
Alright, so here, I have a summarized version. I'm just going to read the whole thing. So,
sure.
The bill it's like less than a page.
Yeah, you're good.
The bill makes it a crime to knowingly import, sell, manufacture, transfer, or possess a semi-automatic assault weapon, an SAW, or a large capacity ammunition feeding device, LCAFD, which I will calling them by their letters now because.
And what's the large carrying capacity carrying device? Or
I'm
whatever?
sure it says that in there and somewhere.
I want to know
here
the definition of that.
Sure.
I thought like just a big magazine. I guess maybe who knows? They're not exactly clear on.
Here, I found it.
What is it?
I found the definition. Alrighty. I'll get it short.
Awesome.
The term large capacity ammunition feeding device,
Probably just a magazine that carries more than 10 rounds.
Means a magazine, belt, drum, feed strip, or similar device, including any such device joined or coupled with another in any manner that has a overall capacity of or that can be readily restored, changed, or converted to accept more than 10 rounds of ammunition.
Okay.
And B, does not include an attached tubular device to accept and capable of operating only with .22 caliber rimfire ammunition.
Okay, so you can have more than 10 bullets if you have 22 caliber. Okay. Oh my gosh, 10 bullets. So many!
Oh, it's limited capacity.
But why?
Well, because
it's stupid.
It's because of what they found in Maryland.
Okay, but the Second Amendment doesn't only cover self-defense. That's part of it.
Yeah.
But you also are entitled to the ability to rise up against your government if you think there's a problem.
That's not what that says, though. That's not what the Second Amendment says.
Going by quotes based off of Founding Fathers, when asked to clarify the Second Amendment, that's what you get. And I'll pull up, I'll find quotes later, okay?
Okay.
We can put it in show notes or whatever, because there are plenty of them. Mainly Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. Jefferson was, like, mean, dude.
Yeah.
He was mean. He was like, if you find, he's like, if you find the slightest reason, I'll murder everything. Anyways, it's just kind of crazy. But yeah. Alright. It's like, again, we are founded on rebellion. That should, it's logical that would be a part of our right.
From what I've gotten and how it's being interpreted, how the Second Amendment is being interpreted now, that is for military purpose, for the most part only. And how it's like. Okay, but why? You're intended to have a gun for military purposes.
Okay, then what's the point of a militia?
Well, the military is technically a militia.
Okay.
Are you looking up the definition of militia?
I may be wrong. Who knows? Yeah, no. It is a military force that is raised from the civil population to supplement a regular army in an emergency.
Okay. Well, again, in conjunction with military activities.
Or another definition, there are three.
What's the legal definition?
Okay, yeah, the first one that I read. Okay. Well, the first definition is the one that I read. Right, I assumed that's
that's still.
I don't know the legal definition because, but.
Well, that's still in my thing, in conjunction with military activities.
And again, definitions change, you know.
Well, yeah, but that's what the court case says, in conjunction with military activities.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which, from that definition, that covers it.
I still don't like the idea, but I get where you're coming from. So
alright, so
we'll go with it. This. Yeah.
The prohibition does not apply to firearms that are manually operated by bolt, pump, lever, or slide action. Yeah. 2 are permanently inoperable. So made in some way that is
makes them broken.
Antique.
Yeah.
Or a rifle, shotgun, specifically identified by make and model.
Yeah.
So, basically, if you own, an antique gun, they're not going to take it away from you, even if it is... Or made inoperable somehow. So, if you own a gun and it's made inoperable, and you don't fix it, you're fine.
Yeah.
The bill also exempts from prohibition the following with respect to SAW or LCAFD. I think at that point it's easier. Anyway, importation, sale, manufacture, or transfer or possession related to certain law enforcement efforts or authorized tests or experiments. So guns used in law enforcement, or guns.
Yeah, and there are exceptions, like for retired police officers I saw, and like military and stuff like that. But
so, importation, sale, transfer, or possession related to securing nuclear materials.
I mean, yeah,
okay.
but
yeah.
I think that's it's
understandable.
Like, yeah,
if you're protecting military or nuclear
warhead.
Potentially dangerous.
Oh yeah, I mean, I saw a great tweet where it's like the military. I mean, the U.S. government has lost 34 nuclear warheads. Yeah. Most of them have not been recovered.
Yeah.
I find it funny how they're telling me I'm not responsible enough to own an AR-15.
Yeah. Well, the U.S. government has its own problems. I'm
just saying.
And possession.
It's a pretty good point, isn't it?
Yeah. And lastly, the possession of a by a retired law enforcement officer.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, that's just like.
Yeah.
To me, personally, it feels like a needless restriction on things that are already not a big problem in the U.S. Assault weapons, they looking at numbers, they are not an issue. They are less than 2% of gun crimes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But
so it's like, why are you banning them?
Dangerous form of crime, of gun crimes.
Not? I mean, you can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the most dangerous type of gun.
No.
Yes. How so?
I mean, really? The most dangerous type of gun? Well, I would consider, like, a 50 caliber machine gun the most dangerous type of gun, but
I'm saying for that I could go out and buy.
Okay.
Not military.
You couldn't just go out and buy it, but assuming you could just go out and buy a gun.
Well, not that, you get what I mean. Like, under, like...
There are regulations around purchasing guns, believe it or not.
When I am of age to buy a gun, I can go to...
And a lot of the times there's a waiting period, but...
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't just go out and buy a gun. Anyways,
I mean, I can buy it. It's just that I have to wait for it.
Well, okay. Shut up. Well, what specific type of gun are you mentioning? Because under this bill, almost everything is an assault rifle. I mean...
Yeah, but it's one of those things where they're taking out the most dangerous types of guns.
Guns are weapons.
Yeah.
They're dangerous.
Yeah.
Just like swords are weapons.
Yeah.
And are dangerous.
But they're also talking about... But that's what I'm saying. They're talking about the most dangerous type. That's why, guns as a section, there's a scale of how dangerous they are, depending on, their fire rate, what caliber of bullets they have.
Okay.
They're taking out the most dangerous half of that.
That's more than half, dude.
You get what I mean. You're
taking away almost every gun. I mean,
Alright, so...
You're saying that I can't have a, dinky little 9... Or you're saying I can't have my 22 caliber centerfire loading ammunition with more than 10 bullets in the magazine and a rifled barrel. That's silly.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I'm sorry, that's silly.
I think this bill is overdoing it, and it will get bounced around between the House and Senate until they can come up to
I'm sure it's not getting passed anytime soon.
Well,
soon without some serious concessions.
There's a big election coming up, which may tip the scales.
May. Well, you'll have to wait till House and Senate change. Unless there is a serious Democratic lead in both congressional houses, I would say fat chance.
Democrats already have one.
Yeah, but we also have the executive and the Senate. So, I mean,
All right.
Anyways.
Let me keep on reading the summary.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
The bill permits continued possession, sale, or transfer of a grandfathered SAW, which must be securely stored. A licensed gun dealer must conduct a background check prior to the sale or transfer of a grandfathered SAW between private parties. So it's regulating how guns are transferred.
Yeah.
Alright. The bill permits continued possession, but prohibit sale or transfer of a grandfathered LCAFD. Newly manufactured LCAFDs must display serial number identification. Newly manufactured SAWs and LCAFDs must display the date of manufacture. And I agree with that. I think that's just regulation. That's just making sure they can track where it came from, who bought it, etc.
I mean, sure. But it's like, it's an individual magazine.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, a gun I can understand. A magazine, I mean, really, dude?
I mean,
it just seems silly. It just seems like a massive logistical effort to track a box that holds some bullets. You know, I
think Amazon gives way more effort to make sure you get your package there, but like, and you can track your package. So like, I think.
Well, they just do everything digitally.
Well.
So, stamping out a serial number, the date of manufacture, and then digitally tracking in all the people who have ever owned it is a little silly to me.
Well, that's only newly manufactured.
I know.
Like, yeah.
Well, obviously they're not going to do that for old things because that'd be ridiculous. Even more ridiculous than what we're dealing with right now. But they don't have to start
once this bill passes. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not. That doesn't seem like too much of a legislation.
Well, I mean, you'd have to add a whole step to your manufacturing process, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to add new computer systems and new ways of tracking where these things are going.
Well, I don't think.
It's not like you're preventing hardly any crimes in the first place.
I don't think it's necessarily I think it's the government that would track them, not the companies.
Okay, then you're just wasting government spending. Well, tracking where boxes that hold bullets go. I mean, it's like, track the gun, not the magazine. You can't use a magazine without a gun, right? So what's the point of tracking a part of the whole? You know? You can use a gun without a magazine. I mean, it'd be ridiculous. You'd have to manually load every single shot, but you could.
It'd be a lot of work just for...
But, like, you know, so track the gun.
I would agree.
If anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even for... I'm okay with tracking guns and who owns guns by serial number, you know? And just, like, you know, name as text or address as text.
Because I think currently guns aren't tracked enough.
I don't know, actually. Do you know the current tracking stuff on guns? Because I don't.
From limited news reports and...
So you don't?
Yeah.
Okay, so neither of us really know, so I don't think we can really have an opinion on that. Right. But...
I have the last little bit.
Okay.
The bill also allows the state or local government to use Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program funds to compensate individuals who surrender a SAW or LCAFD under a buyback program.
Okay.
So the government, if you have one of these guns that is banned, they will buy it back.
Yay, more debt.
Alright. Once you talk about debt, military spending is through the roof.
I mean, yeah, but we're also... I mean, we already almost had a war. We already almost had another war, and we're currently almost having a war with China. So, I mean, you know, honestly, in terms of military spending, I'm kind of okay with that. I mean, we almost went to war with North Korea last year. We almost went to war with Iran this year. And we almost are going to war with China, like, kind of right now, kind of last year, kind of this year, kind of next year, probably.
Alright, but when the military is getting overfunded, and our own postal service is getting underfunded and may get shut down this year.
Okay, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
The postal service does need money. It's
that
a service,
seems like a problem.
and it's not even very expensive.
Well, that's the problem. Like, it's a service. It's not meant to cost. It's not.
I know it's not meant to make money.
It's not meant to make money. It's meant to barely cover its costs.
Okay, well, how about all that money that you're defunding the police departments from? How about we just?
That money is supposed to be spread out through the community to get mental health programs.
Okay,
to help with homelessness, to help with.
We need to do an entire episode on the cops.
I think that's what we're going to plan for our next episode, right?
Okay,
police and everything that's happening with police right now.
So silly.
We might try to interview a policeman or.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to reach out at least for protocol documents, stuff like that.
Yeah, and
the Lawrence Police Departments.
And I want to I'm going to try to get an interview.
Oh, me too, 100%.
We can both do that.
That'd be fun.
Time. Yeah, that seems like a fun idea.
Maybe even have cop on. Who knows? But
that'd be fun for a segment.
ACAB. God, so cringy. Yeah. Anyways. It's like you're telling me not to generalize a group of people based on, anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think most cops get a bad rap.
Oh yeah. It's like, as humans, we love to highlight the negative.
Yeah. And it's a brain thing. As humans, we love to put things in boxes.
Oh yeah.
We love to group people together.
And so obviously, I'm going to be biased towards. Cops are dope, because that's kind of how I've compartmentalized it, right?
I'm definitely more biased towards the protesters that are in the right.
Yeah, well, protesters are always in the right, but rioters are never in the right.
Violent protesters.
They're never in the right. Period. I don't care what you're... Yeah. I mean, if you're rioting over... I mean, I don't care. Some issue that I support, I'm still going to condone you for violently... rioting, you know, I don't care what your justifications are.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just civil unrest is not good.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything to add, or should we wrap up this segment?
This segment, yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. For that, we will end our segment and move on to the next one.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. All right, and with that, we are going to begin our second argument. So this one, I'm going to say to Ian. Alright, so if not this assault weapon ban of 2019, what are some other regulations that are available? As a compromise, what would you suggest?
Okay. If I had to compromise, and I am not saying that I would ever, really. I mean, super not for the 10-round limit. I feel it's frivolous. Okay. I think I can agree on the grenade launcher.
Yeah, I think most people can agree on the grenade launcher. I don't think anybody needs a grenade launcher.
I mean, the stock has nothing to do with the gun, but I mean, if that's a hill you want to die on, go ahead. It doesn't really change the functionality of the gun at all, so it's not a huge deal.
I would agree with that, too.
It is just going to be a nuisance more than anything else for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Forward grip, again, nuisance for everyone involved. It stabilizes the platform a tiny bit, but it does not make a huge difference. And I mean, if you really want, you can just kind of use the magazine well as a vertical grip, so it doesn't change anything. I'm not going to compromise on a pistol grip because they're just handy to have. Barrel shrouds, I don't super care. And I'm never going to let you take away a threaded barrel because, again, we're not lining up and shooting at people in rows in, red and blue coats anymore. So and even then they had rifled bullet barrels. So I don't know where the hell they're getting their argument, but
this is
kind of silly.
Still, it's going to be revised, and it has been revised from the House bill.
Yeah.
I skimmed over the House bill. It got changed a lot.
What was the House bill? Was it just even more insane?
It was mostly just different. It wasn't. It was just. It just looked different. There's so many. The definitions weren't there as much. It was way more loose.
Gotcha. And I mean, yeah. I also. Yeah, I don't understand why any of these really. like, again, God forbid you have a different stabilizing platform on your firearm that is going to be less reliable, add more moving parts that can break, that's just a style choice.
Yeah.
It's kind of pretty hard to conceal a rifle, you know?
Alright, so...
So, yeah, anyways.
Getting away from the S-66 bill, what about red flag laws? So, if anybody doesn't know, a red flag law, Colorado introduced it this summer, I believe.
Yeah, though it was one of the latest ones, and it definitely met the most resistance.
Yeah, so a red flag law basically makes it so the police or family members can go to court and get it, and if the judge agrees, they can take away an individual's guns for no more than a year.
Yeah.
And this is mostly been used in cases of mental health issues or threats of violence, etc.
A couple things, pretty major things that I see wrong with this, right? Let me find it, sorry, in my notes. Main problem I see is, false reports. You get your defensive, mechanisms taken away, and you're screwed while the courts may or may not overturn the accusation. This bill acts like a guilty until proven innocence system, rather than how our legal system is traditionally set up.
Well, I see this more on the line of like a restraining order sort of a thing, sort of a law. It's like, in a restraining order, like you can't be within like so many feet of this person.
Yeah.
I think it's more similar to that than like a criminal case.
Okay. Problem with red flag is you're essentially assuming that somebody will commit a crime with a deadly weapon.
Well,
or has a high enough chance to take their guns away, right?
Yeah.
And again, falsified reports, if somebody has a grudge against you, I mean, here, a woman named Leslie Hollywood,
yeah,
said, quote, "There's a lot of concern that people will be falsely reported by ex-husbands, former roommates, dating partners, people they've had an affair with. One of the things I worry about as a woman is that stalkers and abusers can actually use it to have their victims disarmed." End quote. And so, I mean, in a guilty until proven innocent system, that...
Well, that's why you have to...
Seems like a little dystopian.
Again, that's why you have to go to a judge. That's why the judge has to approve it.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that comes out in court somehow. Like what is your relationship
your gun is just taken away for about a week to 2 weeks before you even get your court date.
Yeah.
So you are guilty until you go to court and prove your innocence.
Well, again,
that's the problem with the system.
I see this more as a restraining order and less like...
I mean, yes, but if you are, a horrible person, right?
Yeah.
And mature content warning. If you're a horrible person and you want to, rape somebody or something, right? Or rob somebody, file the complaint, the police go, take their weapons away, and then you get to do whatever the hell you want because they're unarmed. For 2 weeks.
Yes, and there are problems with this.
That's a huge issue.
Yeah. And if
I thought of it in under an hour,
if we read this from a 60 Minutes article, there was a great segment last night.
I used some other sources too.
Yeah. I mostly this spurred my interest because I watched that last night and I thought it was really interesting. I thought it tied into what.
I also think it needs better criteria for what is considered a red flag and what is not,
and
a couple other things.
I don't think has either of us actually read the law, read the bill.
No, I couldn't find it online. I looked for it.
Huh, that's weird.
I probably just used a bad search term.
Yeah. So we'd have to actually read it, depending, like, see exactly what the wording is, what the actual thing is, but in general, that's what you think about it?
Yeah, I think that it's a very flawed system and that I would never want it implemented in my area. I mean, I don't own any guns because I'm not old enough to, but, well, actually, Kansas law, you're allowed to own guns at, like, 11 with parental consent, so
Yeah,
I could.
Kansas laws are screwed up in many ways.
Well, that's also because we're 90% agricultural, and it's like, as a kid on a farm, a gun's gonna be a lot more likely.
Yeah.
Just hunting with dad or whatever, right?
But like, you can get a learner's permit at 14.
Yeet.
I remember, like, I have family up in Washington. When they heard that, they were like, "What?" Like, you can do that? And you can get a farmer's license even earlier.
Yeah.
Like 12? Isn't it for a farmer's license or something?
I don't know.
Like some stupid age.
Yeah. But, anyways.
So, like, on both of those are way too young to own a gun, but I understand why.
Yeah, I understand why, too. And it is, again, kind of based on where you live, right? If you're living in a hyper-urbanized state, like, you know, New York, you're not going to run into those sort of laws.
Yeah. Kansas, a bit more. Kansas, a bit
Oh,
more.
yeah, I thought you said Canada. I was like, what? Canada's silly on their gun laws.
We're still talking about the U.S.
Yeah.
Canada's become part of the U.S., I don't think.
Canada's crazy, dude. Have you heard about the latest Trudeau thing?
No, I haven't.
This is the third time he's broken federal law while in office.
Eesh.
Anyways. I digress. Another tangent. Jeez, we need to get back on topic. Anyways, yeah, very flawed system. The red flag thing. I think that you should be on a more innocent till proven guilty system, like our country was kind of founded on, and I understand where you're coming from with the whole, more like a restraining order thing, but, yeah. I think that there could be better ways to do this, too. You know, if nothing else, if you're worried about your spouse or whatever, you know, going insane, why don't you just, you know, get a hotel for a couple days?
Well, in the 60 Minutes article, did you see the dad who his son shot himself? In that case, I think that was complete. Like, if red flag laws had been around, I would highly suggest that you guys read that 60 Minutes article.
I have it linked, I think.
It's very informative, and I will put it in the description. So this guy's son bought a gun and
had a gun, I think,
he bought
for a while.
Well, and then he like tried to kill himself. And
no, he was kind of having suicidal thoughts, and his dad knew it, so the dad took it away.
The dad took it away. This is way before red flag laws were a thing.
I think it was in like 2008, actually, but
yeah.
Yeah, so and then he was like, "Dad, I can just buy another gun if I really want to kill myself." And then he's like, "Okay."
The dad put locks on the guns, which the son figured out how to take off, and he shot himself.
Yep.
In that case, I think if a red flag law had been around, it would have helped significantly.
Yeah.
And those cases, like, that's a really helpful situation for a red flag law.
Well, and that's the problem, though, isn't it? Like, I don't know. It's so tricky, though, because it's like...
It really is, like...
And again...
And I completely agree with your point.
Though, honestly, if his son was dead set on killing himself, he could have just grabbed a kitchen knife, you know? It's like... We're pretty fragile as humans.
Oh, yeah. Humans are
We can die pretty easily due to most things, right? So...
I think it's just because a knife is a bit more...
It's a little...
And harder.
Yeah.
It's like...
With the gun, it's just like push a button, right? But,
yeah, push a button. But, like, when you pull a trigger, it's pretty instant depending on where you shoot yourself, but...
Oh, God. But, yeah. Yeah.
Like, depending on where you shoot yourself, it can be very painful for a very long time.
Yeah, anyways, it's hard, though, right? Because, I mean, from Leslie's perspective, you know, it's like...
Yeah. And I
don't want to get violated.
I understand that,
So, again, that's kind of where it comes into,
and a lot of counties in Colorado call themselves Second Amendment sanctuaries.
Yeah, it's also all over Virginia too. It was really, really heated for a while.
60-minute
with National Guard being activated.
The 60-minute article that we're talking about only pertains to Colorado.
Yes,
so that's what I mainly know about.
So yeah, and a lot of states are implementing it completely differently. It's not a unified rollout either. It's just.
But talking about Second Amendment sanctuaries, they're saying that they're saying this is unconstitutional, and if they're and it's mostly the sheriffs saying this.
Yeah, and I don't completely disagree.
I don't either, but it's a flawed system that.
Well, what are we talking about?
Red flag laws and gun laws in general, and those sorts of cases where
I think that the political division in this country is making it almost impossible
for
anyone to get anything done, right? It's like, if both parties talked and just had an honest chat about red flag gun laws, we would either come up with something, or the people who propose it are like, okay, well, it was an idea, but we were wrong, right?
Yeah, no.
Either way it works out.
That's why we're doing this podcast, because we want bipartisan talking.
Yeah, it should still just be like that, you know? We should not be at each other's throats constantly trying to,
Yeah. The fact that we
dig up dirt on the other candidate, right?
The fact that we have a two-party system, and those parties are so divided.
Mm-hmm. We are the most divided since the Civil War.
Oh,
we are.
Since the...
It's insane.
Since the kind of Obama-Trump era, era, that's
that was when I think it really came to light how divided everyone was. But dude, just look on any social media.
Yeah. You
see the number of people just hating on an entire party.
Yeah.
Is crazy.
Yeah.
And you talk to your grandparents, either side of the aisle they're on, they're radical too.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. So
it's I have friends who have radically left and radically right grandparents, and it's insane.
Yeah, no, there needs to be more moderate people in this country.
Yeah, or I don't care if you're radical, but wait, you can be a Marxist for all I care. Yeah. But what I care about is that you have the ability to have calm, civil conversations.
Exactly. With a person that disagrees with you.
Yeah. Living in an echo chamber is never a solution.
No. That's what makes this
so problematic.
Facebook groups or Twitter, those just they bounce off each other, they expand. It changes opinions of other people and makes them more extreme, makes them more leaning.
Yeah. And it is a big issue. And it's again, I'm pretty damn far right, and Tiger is pretty far left, right? We are nowhere near on the same side of things.
But we can have civil conversations with each other and change each other's opinions.
Yeah, and we're still going to be friends after this.
Yeah.
It's crazy. In today's climate, it kind of is. Yeah. But,
yeah.
And I'm kind of nervous doing this podcast just because of blowback from people I know, right?
We got a lot of...
Because, I'm in a very liberal town, and I don't even think I know any conservatives, really. So,
few and far between.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though, right?
Yeah.
It's whew. Yeah, so do you want to kind of...
Let's,
I think this wraps up this segment?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be back on our next big segment, which is gun control in other countries.
Yep.
Alright, and we are back with our last main topic before conclusions.
Woot woot.
Alright. And for our final segment of the episode, we will be talking about the NRA for more accurately, what is happening with the NRA right now with the New York
lawsuit.
The New York Attorney General moving to dissolve.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did not. Okay.
Yeah, that's the title.
I didn't read the article.
Okay.
You read the article.
You didn't read the title?
No, I didn't. I literally just, I just clicked on the first result and read the first paragraph, okay?
Alright, so we're going to be talking about how the New York Attorney General moves to dissolve the NRA after fraud investigation. So...
Dang.
Yeah, so this has been like an 8-month investigation.
Wow, I'm surprised I have not heard of that.
I've been aware of it for a bit.
That's kind of... I mean, I knew there was a lawsuit. I didn't know they were trying to dissolve the NRA.
No, I've been aware of it because of John Oliver and Patriot Act.
Oh, no.
They talked about
We're gonna cover those guys later, too.
I mean...
Freaking hate them.
I don't see them as accurate sources, but they're... If I want general news, I'll... Yeah. Alright,
I mean, watch them. If you think they're funny, that's your personal opinion, but,
this comedy is subjective.
Yeah, but, don't take them as sources.
Yeah.
Take them with more salt than us.
Yeah.
You know, we actually cite our sources, you know, that's...
Alright, so... I'm just going to read the article. The Attorney General of New York took action Thursday to... and this is as of August 6th, so this is... a month out of date. And this is...
Oh, wow, how ancient of your source.
I mean, compared to, 2 years.
That was a joke.
Yeah. The Attorney General of New York took action Thursday to dissolve the National Rifle Association following an 18-month
Woo!
investigation that found evidence the powerful gun rights group is fraught with fraud and abuse. So that's already a very... decisive first paragraph.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, the NRA's kind of been in the shits for years because they have not been conducting themselves properly.
No, especially during school shootings.
I know. I think that they got a little too much money thrown at them and they got a little too full of themselves and thought they were invincible.
Yeah.
Because it's like, can we just get a good pro-Second Amendment, pro-gun rights lobbyist group that isn't fraught with corruption, please?
Well, that's the thing. It shouldn't be, yeah.
Again, it's all dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, even our U.S. Congress is fraught with corruption, though, to be fair. I mean, that's part of democracy, right? But capitalist democracy, but...
Yeah, capitalist. Because companies want their say in stuff. And gun companies...
Not mostly gun companies. Honestly, AT&T has a lot more of a buy-in to Congress than anyone else. But, they're like, you know, Monsanto, holy shit.
Drug companies are big.
Drug companies, Monsanto.
Gun companies, through the NRA.
Gun companies a little bit, yeah, definitely.
There's still a major...
I'd say more in stateside regulation than anything else, but yeah.
I would agree with that.
Because, federal, it's there's not too much going on. But
except for this bill.
Except for the stupid bill that literally anyone in their right mind can tell is dumb. But,
alright.
I mean, you can tell it's dumb.
I think they're overdoing it a bit.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
1498, guys, come on. Get with the times.
I disagree with the thread and barrel thing. That's just...
it's just silly, man. I mean,
overdoing it a bit.
You can't have a detachable magazine.
Alright.
Anyway, sorry.
So, Attorney General Letitia James claims in a lawsuit filed Thursday that she found financial misconduct in the millions of dollars that was contributed to the loss of more than $64 million over a 3-year period. That's a lot of money.
Dude.
That is a lot of money.
I mean, I knew that they were a little shady, but 64 mil?
So,
Yikes.
So, here's the main problem. If this was a regular company, this wouldn't be a problem.
Well, yeah, but it's a non-profit.
It's a non-profit,
if it's a regular company, no one cares, and it's honestly expected. But
unless it's like a fraud thing with the other
unless there's some deal going on.
The suit alleges that the top NRA executive misused charitable funds for personal gain.
Oh, and he totally did.
Yeah.
The previous chair actually resigned because of the super shady stuff that the co-vice president, whatever their system is, their second in command, essentially, was doing.
Yeah.
And then when he got in charge, it just got worse.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, maybe I should...
Lapierre?
Yeah, whoever that... Yeah.
That's the
weird
CEO right now.
Weird name, yeah. Bad guy. Completely ruined that. Because I don't think it was super messed up before, actually.
It was mostly him. It was mostly Wayne Lapierre.
Yeah, like, there were a couple things, but there's going to be a couple scandals in literally every nonprofit, right? Big ones, especially with, like, millions of dollars. But this guy...
If it's like a public art center,
yeah,
I'm not going to expect that much, but, like, as big as the NRA is,
it's like... There's
no way it hasn't.
And this guy has been a shady character almost the whole time. Yeah. It's kind of impressive that he made it up that far in their ranks.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because that... I mean, I know a lot of people who support the NRA because of what they do, and they, to be fair, they do a lot of good stuff. They in states where it was passed, they started an, like, anti-ego program or something, where it was, like, essentially they just teach, like, kids gun safety.
Yeah.
It's like, God forbid, right?
But, like... No, that's a useful skill.
Yeah, and it's like...
And they're not all bad.
There's
kind of corrupt.
It's mainly their CEO. He's freaking awful. But funnily enough, my mom's super liberal church, right?
Yeah,
very liberal. There's an NRA gun safety poster in there. Like, they hate the NRA. It's obvious, right? But it's just kind of funny.
The NRA said in a statement that the legal action was political, calling it baseless, premeditated attack on our organization and the Second Amendment freedoms it fights to defend. And we will not only not shrink from this fight, we will confront it and prevail, which they haven't.
Fat chance.
Yeah, no, you're a nonprofit. You have to. There's very strict rules when it comes to that.
Well, and it's very like strict the CEO is full of. Horse doo-doo.
It lists dozens of examples of alleged financial malfeasance. I don't know that word.
Let me see it. I'm good at sounding words out. Which one is it? This is tiny font. Jeez. Don't know that word. Malfeasance, maybe?
Yeah.
Probably malfeasance. I like that one.
I'll look it up in a dictionary later.
Cool.
Malfeasance.
We'll put the definition in the show notes if we remember.
Including the use of NRA funds for vacations, private jets, and expensive meals.
So, the private jets probably where most of that 64 mil went, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Come on, though. Like, what? How do you even justify that in your mind? It's like, I'm running a non-profit.
Yeah.
Learjet right now. Pull her on back.
In a statement, James's office said that the charitable organization executives instituted a culture of self-dealing, mismanagement, and negligent oversight.
Oh, is it not only the CEO? It sounded like just the CEO.
No, it's the entire head executive, like...
Epic.
Yeah, no, it's the top of this. Like most companies, but... Yeah.
Rotten at the core.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It also Oh, wait. I skipped a bunch. That contributed to the waste and loss of millions in assets. The lawsuit seeks to dissolve the NRA in its entirety and asks the court to order Lapierre and other current and former executives to pay back unlawful profits. Which I think is completely fair.
To whom?
I assume who donated it.
I would hope. Not the state, but...
It doesn't say, but I would sure hope that it's to the people that
actually gave their money to a cause they believed in. Yeah. Me too, brother.
Like, those people just got swindled out of a ton of money.
A lot of money. 64 million, apparently, so...
Well, not only one person, but yeah.
I know. Yeah. It's people, plural.
And for most people, it's going to be like, what, $20?
Well...
Depending on how...
I mean, it's probably going to be more like, subscriptions to newsletters or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So
I'm sure.
It's probably more like $20 a month, Yeah. But yeah, either way.
Lapierre, who also serves as CEO, has held the top position of the organization for nearly 30 years. Yeah. It's the chairman stepped down. He was always CEO.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In the Attorney General's lawsuit, he is accused of using charitable funds for personal gain, including a post-employment contract valued at more than $17 million that was not approved by the NRA's board of directors. So basically, when he retires, he gets $17 million that he didn't earn. Then was not approved.
Yeah, this kid is screwed.
A kid that is like 70 years older than us.
Don't worry about it. He's a kid. This kid's screwed. I mean, again, it's like, are you insane? Like,
yeah.
what?
How did you think that you would get away with this?
I mean, all of your stuff is publicly available.
Yeah.
All of your funds are publicly available.
You should. Like,
how did you think you were going to get away with $64 million in 3 years, dude?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
that is an absurd amount of money.
A couple grand over 3 years I can get, it's like, whatever. But, like, dude, ugh.
Like, that's just
nasty.
Blatant.
On top of his salary as CEO, right? Which is probably at least six figures, Yeah. I mean, it's probably more like 7, 8, 9, but yeah.
It's like, from what I'm reading, like...
I mean...
yeah.
The NRA is huge. It has international reach. It's worth a lot of money. The CEO probably gets a significant chunk of change.
Oh, I'm sure. The lawsuit also claims that LaPierre received more than $1.2 million in expense reimbursements for over 4 years. In this lawsuit, $1.2 million doesn't seem like a whole lot.
No, it seems like a really small number, and then you think about it, and it's like,
But it's still $1.2 million.
Yeah.
That is more than I will ever make, or not more than I will ever make. That is more than...
I mean, that's like the value of a city block, pretty much, It's like, wow, okay.
That is more than most people make in, like, 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like... 5 years. The average income for America is $40,000, dude.
Oh, yeah, then like
annually, so
more than 10 years.
Yeah, that's
that's crazy.
But again, where we live, that's like an entire city block.
Yeah.
In our nice neighborhood. I mean, we live in a pretty chill neighborhood for Kansas. It's pretty nice. So
because it's a historic neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
all right. Including gifts for friends, travel expenses, and memberships at golf clubs and hotels. So the most rich thing ever. Just, like, what do you expect?
Memberships.
Memberships.
Plural is what I mean.
Yeah.
Ships.
Multiple.
Multiple golf clubs. Multiple resort. Like, what the hell, dude? Sorry, man. That's just...
It alleges that he spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not even hundreds of dollars. Not thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And again, that number seems kind of small, and then you're like, oh, that's like a house, bro.
Yeah. On private plane trips, including for extended family, that when he was not even present, so he's just giving money away to random people.
Well,
his family.
Yeah, but still.
You know what I mean. Outside of the company.
Yeah. Without approval.
Yeah.
From the board of directors.
With his, traveled to Africa with his wife. On safari.
It sounds like a cool vacation.
Gifted by NRA vendor. So this seems like it was approved somewhat.
Yeah, but as a non-profit, that's still not okay to use
position
like that.
Yeah. And spent more than $3.6 million on a luxury black car services and travel consultants in the past 2 years. So he paid $3.6 million in the last 2 years on cars.
I mean, what cars are you getting?
Well, like on luxury black car services. So, like, limo services.
Okay, yeah.
To places I didn't expect. But still, that's a massive amount of money over 2 years.
They're kind of nice limos, huh?
I'll say.
Dang.
Or a lot of them.
Limo train.
So here's the shady part.
That wasn't the shady part just now?
More shady.
The, like, $5 million expenses?
Well, this is how we covered it up.
Oh, okay.
Those who attempted to blow the whistle on this behavior, the suit claims, were, retaliated?
Let me see it. We're stupid 16-year-olds. Just let's keep this fair. Retaliated,
Oh.
dude? Oh my gosh. Tiger, you're supposed to be the smart one who reads the college textbooks.
Doesn't mean
Retaliated.
retaliated against by LaPierre. Shut up. Dude, it's 11 o'clock at night. It's getting to me.
Okay.
I just ran 7 miles.
Aw, yeah, ran 7 miles.
Shut up. Let's see. And so next is allegations against former CFO Woody Phillips, former Chief of Staff Joshua Perrell, and General Counsel John Fraser. James's lawsuit alleges that Phillips, whose job it was to manage the financial operations of the charitable organization. So it was his job to distribute funds. So he's the main,
Yeah.
lied on financial disclosure forms and set up numerous deals to enrich himself and his girlfriend. So
Epic.
he was just pulling money from the NRA. Along with, that's what I'm saying, it's like the entire,
Yeah,
head
sounds
of,
good. It's like the head guys really just
it's the
shoving
executives.
their throats full of money. Yeah.
Nice. And their friends' pockets.
I mean, and you know what? That's a little depressing.
Yeah.
You know?
The New York Attorney General claims that Phillips set up a contract for himself just before he retired and a package that was worth $1.8 million.
Nice.
Which, again, doesn't seem like that much compared to all the rest of this.
Yeah, but it all adds up too. You know,
Yeah.
it's like we're at what, 7 million now. It's like kind of crazy. At least, or like 37.
$17 million for a post-employment contract. It was $1.2 million in expenses.
So.
And 1.8. So yeah, we're
like 19-20 mil.
Yeah.
Nice.
And of the $64 million.
Yeah. So I mean, really, we're getting up to 100 million. Like that's insane numbers.
Yeah.
For corruption, you know.
Purportedly for consulting services to the incoming treasurer, but the incoming treasurer told the New York Attorney General that he was not aware of this contract. So basically, they got a new guy to lie for them. Or cover up things.
Awesome.
That he was not aware he was covering up.
Yeah, and I mean, I was never super interested in the NRA. I was never invested in the organization as a whole. So I mean,
pretty much all I've heard from the NRA has been pretty corrupt.
I'm not gonna be super defensive towards it. So I mean, if you're looking for a good defense, just find someone else.
I think in this topic we agree pretty.
I mean, this is insane. 1, 2. I mean, I never thought the NRA was a super cool organization, but they kind of always seemed a little slimy to me. But now it's like, wow, okay, yeah.
Phillips also directed a deal worth more than $1 million to his girlfriend, the suit alleges. So he's just giving money away.
Yeah. From a nonprofit.
He shouldn't have that money anyway.
Yeah.
No. That's just,
and again, I mean, at this point, either dissolve the NRA, or have a, federal, FBI investigation into the corruption, remove it, and then start a new sort of thing.
I'm sure there will,
I don't know if the government's willing to waste federal resources on in the NRA, but
if and when this gets dissolved,
or resolved, but
dissolved or resolved, I'm sure there's going to be something else to take.
Oh, I'm sure.
Some kind of grassroots thing.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, James alleges that the former NRA Chief of Staff, Joshua Powell's salary more than tripled, little more than 2 years into his tenure.
Wow.
So, he's just lining his pockets in cash.
Mm-hmm.
Which began in 2016. So, in the first 2 years of his tenure, his salary tripled.
I kind of want to know how much money he was.
Oh, here, I actually
what's his salary? Oh, nice.
While he began at $250,000 per year.
Okay.
A lot of money.
6 figures, yeah.
It rose to 800,000.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of money.
That's nutty.
That is a lot. That is close to $1 million a year.
That's ridiculous. That's insane. And on top of that, you're stealing like 64 mil and stuff. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, no, NRA is rife with corruption.
Yeah. And this more than proves it.
Yeah.
Alright, so Powell is also accused of directing charitable funds to be used for the benefit of his family members. Like, I think this fits
fits the bill.
Yeah. The New York Attorney General said that Powell approved $5. No, not $5.
$5 whole of corruption. Oh no!
I don't think.
Honestly, I would. Like what? No.
I'm sure most nonprofits have $5 of corruption. I think that's just a mistake at that point.
It's just like the leader of Goodwill. Oh shit! I bought an apple. God dang it!
$5 million.
Oh, a little bit more. Yeah. Okay.
Consulting contract with the firm McKenna and Associates. The firm in turn hired Powell's wife and passed her $30,000 monthly. $30,000 monthly consulting fee through the NRA.
$36,000 a year.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Woo. A lot of money. Powell also arranged for the NRA.
3,000 or 30,000?
30,000.
Oh, add a zero. $360,000 a year.
Powell,
I misheard you.
Yeah. Powell also arranged for the NRA vendor to hire his father as a paid photographer. I couldn't read the word photographer.
It's okay. I don't think any tops retaliate, though. That was pretty funny.
Leading to his $90,000 in fees for his father. So he's basically hiring his family members, jacking up
money.
Their salaries, and then letting them leave.
Yeah.
Funds that were ultimately billed to the NRA.
Good dude. Good guy.
Oh, yeah.
Real good guy.
Oh, yeah.
Love that guy.
Oh, yeah. And this is the former chief of staff.
Nice.
That we're talking about currently. Powell.
Yeah, this is... I think we've already kind of covered this, kind of beating a dead horse by now, but, rife with corruption, bad, it needs some serious resolution.
Yeah.
But,
Attorney General Carl A. Racine alleged that the foundation violated local laws by placing the NRA's interests ahead of its own charitable purposes.
Well, obviously...
I would agree with that.
I'd say that violates federal law, but whatever.
Yeah.
Just, may as well hit above belt,
Yeah.
But anyways.
A secret recording of the NRA board meeting obtained by the NPR in April showed LaPierre telling the audience that the NRA's legal troubles have cost the organization $100 million.
Wow, that's how you're covering it up, huh?
Yeah.
Legal fees? Come on.
God.
Let's TFU. Come on, man.
The turmoil at the NRA also could have political ramifications ahead of the 2020 election. The NRA spent tens of millions of dollars in 2016 to support the then candidate Donald Trump. So they were a major funder of Donald Trump in 2016 election.
Okay, well, it is a non-profit, and that would further their agenda, so that kind of makes sense, honestly.
Yeah, that's just like a signing off quote that I got from here.
Yeah?
Yeah. But, so that's the article. I didn't read it in full. There's a lot there that I didn't read, but I read the most important points that I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would like to read the article, we'll have it we'll cite it.
Yeah, show notes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we can move on to conclusions.
Yeah, so we will be back for conclusions.
So, on to the conclusions. This is the part where we talk about how our opinions changed, what we can see about our opponent's point of view, or I wouldn't say opponent, but you know what I mean, opposed point of view. co-host point of view.
Co-host point of view.
But yeah, so just what we can see, what we disagree with, how our views may or may not have changed.
I'm gonna start with that.
Okay, well, 1 second.
Yeah, okay.
And then also just like a brief summary of what we talked about, the sort of TLDR. Yeah, go ahead.
So, I definitely saw that the S66 bill was kind of ridiculous in a couple points. Especially in the, rifle. It's like, that just seems, it's unnecessary. It's like, a couple of things I think should be scratched, and of course this is a bill in progress. It'll undoubtedly hop between the House and Senate until either gets scrapped completely, or it...
And I mean, that's assuming it even passes executive. They're probably waiting until... They're probably waiting until at least the elections. That way, if Biden gets in, they have a much better chance of passing whatever comes through, right?
Yeah. And if they get the Senate, they've been even better.
Oh, yeah. Well, if they get the Senate, it's almost guaranteed if they have all three, if they have Congress and executive, but...
Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen, probably.
Well...
at least demographically, it probably won't happen for a bit. But anyways.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But, anything that you noticed?
I liked a lot of your points, actually. I saw where you were coming from a surprising number of things. Just, sort of the anti-gun point of view. I don't think my point of view necessarily changed. Though I understand where you're coming from a lot more, and I think that your point of view makes more sense to me.
Yeah. And I definitely saw that. I don't think my opinion changed on guns.
Yeah.
I just saw, in certain things, like the bill and maybe, red flag laws, especially.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even think about that sort of thing. That just didn't cross my mind.
Yeah, whereas, I was I see problems with it. I think it's a good idea in of itself. Yeah. I just think it's flawed and executed poorly.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, but I have no problems. Yeah, I have no qualms with the original plan.
Yeah. It has the best of intentions. I think all of these bills have the best of intentions.
And you, totally sold me on it, right?
Yeah.
I suppose if any of my views did change, it was probably about the red... from just, to heck with that to, okay, I can see it, it needs work, but I can see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, did you have any more to add, or should we just kind of summarize briefly?
Let's summarize what we talked about. So
okay.
First we talked about the S66 bill, the assault weapon ban of 2019. We read through it, and we voiced our opinions on it, and nitpicked it a bit.
Yeah, we both kind of came to the conclusion that it needs a lot of work and is a little silly in some regards. Just kind of overstepping itself a little bit.
Yeah, it's covering too many bases.
Yeah.
That don't need to be covered.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing was
we talked about Second
red
Amendment.
Flag.
Well, we talked about the S66 bill in terms of does it violate the Second Amendment?
Okay, yeah, and then you talked about the court case that I already forgot the name of.
Those of District of Columbia versus Heller.
Yeah, and Heller too. Which are just covering how it's not how the federal court in that area, which sets a precedent for the rest of the nation. Just want to clarify, but it was in that area that it kind of says that you don't necessarily have a right to be able to be armed to the teeth in terms of rebellion and whatnot.
Yeah. There's limits to the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
That's what I was stating.
Precisely.
Yeah. You can't just own any weapon. And lastly, we talked about the NRA and
we kind of
investigation that's currently happening.
We kind of unanimously we're kind of against them. We don't like them very much.
Yeah. The NRA is...
and at the beginning we talked about the Kyle Rittenhouse thing.
Yeah.
Briefly. We'll talk about it when more stuff comes out.
But currently, he's just being charged with those. Nothing's really happened.
Yeah.
So far. Because it only happened Wednesday of this week.
That's crazy. Feels like forever ago.
Week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that feels a little more accurate. But yeah.
It's still half a week ago.
Yeah, it's still...
We're recording on Monday of the 31st.
Yeah.
Of August.
2020.
Last Wednesday.
I mean, and yeah. So, yeah, a lot happened. We will try and figure out an upload schedule that makes a little bit of sense.
Once we have a couple episodes under our belt, we'll be able to figure out a schedule.
Just bear with us while we are struggling to figure out different things as I drop my microphone.
Yeah. Our next episode, I think we both agree we're going to be covering the police.
Yeah, police and police brutality and funding and all of those fun things.
Yeah. That's going to be a big episode.
Yeah, probably another long one.
And we're going to try to get an interview with a policeman.
Yeah, and yeah, just, yeah. I feel, when do you think, just general, probably 2-3 weeks?
Yeah.
Maybe a month.
Right.
Yeah. 2 to 3 weeks, probably.
Yeah. And then we're probably, the next one, because that'll be almost November at that point, we'll probably talk about the election right before, maybe right after.
Yeah, and those will probably be like 2 kind of rapid fire episodes that are like not even a half hour long. That just kind of
informational, not really debatey.
Yeah, I mean, slight debate, but more like, you know, here's how people are polling, da-da-da-da-da, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be more informational, though.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe,
maybe a couple talking points, but yeah, nothing huge. Yeah, that's really all I got. You can contact us at generationzpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Please leave questions, concerns, comments, criticisms. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, we are happy to take any sort of feedback that you have for us. Yeah. I think with that, we're going to end the podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
All right. Thank you.